What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video. And of course, what does this mean? It means yet again we have another trade deadline video. We've been talking a lot about the trade deadline the past few days, about a week by now. The trade deadline, of course, coming on November 3rd. That is the final day that teams can make a trade for the rest of the season until the offseason. A lot of rumors surrounding the New England Patriots, whether that's them potentially trading some players, whether that's them being interested in players, which so far has been the majority. And in this one, we got my favorite one yet, because the New England Patriots apparently are showing serious interest in Vikings wide receiver, Adam Thielen. And Bill Belichick, if these rumors are true, let me give you some claps, okay? Because this is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been saying. If you watched my live the other day, which if you haven't, it is still up on the channel, a replay of it. If you've heard any of my other videos where I've talked about, the trade deadline and rumors surrounding the New England Patriots, I have always said the New England Patriots, if they're going to look into a wide receiver, they need to look into a true number one wide receiver. I don't care about a number two, a number three, number four wide receiver. Those guys at this point, they're not going to make the impact that this team needs to make that jump forward. They need a legit number one receiver to come in and fill that role. They have number two receiver. They have a number three. They have a number four. What this team doesn't have is a legit number one guy, and because of that, you're asking guys like injured Julian Edelman for that fact, Damiere Byrd, N'Keal Harry, Jacoby Myers, to step up and play at a rate that either they can't play or they're just not ready to play. And because of that, matchups against, any team for that factor, just a defensive matchup against this Patriots offense is always going to be in favor of the opponent, because 9 out of 10 times they will have the ability to match up against these receivers. Bring in a number one guy like Adam Thielen, and now it is opening up the playbook substantially, but it is also setting up your offense statistically the correct way, as even scheme-wise, just setting it up the correct way, because you now have a true number one guy, and you can go, all right, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three, and be confident about it. You're not pushing any guy to be in a position that they cannot play. Bill Belichick, I think at this point, is pushing players to play at a rate or play at a certain position that they're just not able to do. I think the truth of the matter is, if this team wants to be successful right now, they have to be true to the fact of playing these players at what they can currently do, not making them do something more that, let's be real with ourselves, they just can't do. Now, this does make sense too, because Adam Thielen is on the trade block, as are many other Vikings players. They just traded away Yannick Ngakoue, who they just acquired not that long ago. They also have several other players that are going to be on the trade block. At this point, the Vikings are a team that is looking to ship away multiple players. They're in a rebuild mode. That team is going nowhere even close this season. So a guy like Adam Thielen is a guy that could really help them build for the future. Now, from a build standpoint, from an age standpoint, honestly, he fills every single thing that I'm looking for in a receiver. He's 30 years old. He was originally an undrafted free agent back in 2013 by the Vikings. Sitting at 30, though, he definitely still has good years ahead of him, and he is a veteran in the league, which I'm really happy about, because the problem, I think, with the New England Patriots is that they're very young right now. Damiere Byrd, N'Keal Harry, Jacoby Myers, these are all super young guys, and I think that's part of the problem here, is that these guys just don't really know what they're doing. The only true veteran they have on this team at this point is Julian Edelman. I think that they could serve to have another veteran, especially someone like Adam Thielen, who, again, can be an easy number one guy, number one target, but can be a true veteran here for the New England Patriots and bring that veteran aspect not just on the field, which is very much needed, but also in the locker room. He also would bring some height here to the New England Patriots receiving core, which again, I think is very needed. You don't have much tall guys at this point. N'Keal Harry really is your only one. He's not living up to expectations. He's not playing as well as we were hoping, and he's now dealing with a concussion. Thielen, sitting at 6'2", 201 pounds, will bring that tall receiver that you need. Also brings a versatility. Can play in the middle of the field, can play in the slot. Patriots need help there. You can also play on the outside of the field. Patriots could use help there also. What is great about Adam Thielen's play is the fact that I think it just fits in perfectly with what the New England Patriots like to do. Now, he's not a guy who's going to beat you with his speed. He's going to beat you because he can get legit separation. And what does he do that by? He does that by his routes. And I think that can be also beneficial to somebody like N'Keal Harry, to be beneficial to someone like Jacoby Myers, to help them learn how to use their feet and how to run better routes, because Adam Thielen is one of the best route runners that I think is currently in the NFL. He is able to run pretty much every single route in the playbook. And what is great about him is that he starts off getting separation straight off the line of scrimmage. Right away with his feet, he knows how to get that separation, something that N'Keal Harry has struggled with, which is why he doesn't know how to get separation. Right away off the line of scrimmage is when you need to get that first step. You need to get that separation, because if you don't, you are going to have some troubles getting separation throughout the rest of the route, especially if a quarterback is being pressured and has to get the ball off quickly. If you do not get your first step off the line of scrimmage correctly and you don't beat that press coverage or that zone coverage, chances are you're going to be pressed by that defensive back the entirety of the route. He reminds me of a Julian Edelman-esque type of guy, except a little bit more different. He's really good with his cuts. I wouldn't say that he's as sharp with his cuts as Julian Edelman. I think the key to Julian Edelman's play is more how sharp his cuts are, and while Adam Thielen has sharp cuts, his game is more centered around kind of tricking the defensive back. And what I mean by that is Adam Thielen is like a wizard, like a magician rather, in the fact that he can make every single route look the same, and then last minute he'll switch it up, which is how he confuses the defense. One play he can be running a go route, the next play he can make it look like he's running a go route and then end up doing a hitch, vice versa. And I just ultimately think that Adam Thielen is going to be the type of guy that can just get open quick, and I think that's what the Patriots need. Now, there's been many times that Patriots receivers have gotten open, and Cam Newton has just missed them, but a lot of times it takes these Patriots receivers quite a bit of time to get open. From a contract standpoint, yet again, this is my favorite part. He is not in contract year. The New England Patriots would be getting him for many years to come. He is not an unrestricted free agent until 2025. So they would get him the rest of this season. They would get him for 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. That is not just building for right now, to help you right now, but that is helping you in the long term. And that is something else that I have said about these trades, is that if the New England Patriots are just going to trade for someone that is a rental for this season, there's no point. This team isn't going to go anywhere this season. I just don't see it happening. They would have to make multiple trades in order for this team to make it into the postseason, potential Super Bowl. There's no point in wasting your money. There's no point in wasting draft capital. There is no point in wasting your time for a rental. Get a guy who is going to help you and has multiple years on this contract. Now, before we get into the details of his contract, gotta let you guys know that the wait for football is finally over. We are about to be hitting the about halfway mark, I believe, of the NFL season. Just crazy. I know that a lot of us, especially Pats fans, are not able to be at a game this year, but you are still able to get in with all of the NFL action for the rest of the season with BetOnline. Now, BetOnline is going that extra mile to make sure that you get in on everything imaginable for this upcoming season. All the way from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online. Now, you can get in on their season opening bonuses today and start off wagering on win, division, and championship futures right now. All you got to do is head to BetOnline today and take advantage of all their great sign-up bonuses. Again, guys, that is BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Now, as for the rest of this year, or I should say just in general this year, he's expected to have a cap hit of around $12.7 million. And yeah, that is definitely a lot. The New England Patriots will not have to pay all $12 million of that, though, because he already played about half the season with the Vikings. So they would have to take on a little bit of that. But in 2021, that's just going to go up to 13.5, 2022, 14.4, 2023, 15.4, and 2024, 14.6. So it does go down a little bit more from 2023. I know it seems like a lot, guys, but honestly, for a number one wide receiver, a guy who, again, is one of the best route runners in the NFL, it's not that much. It's kind of a bargain, actually. Especially when you look at, he is definitely one of the best receivers in the league. And I'm not saying he's top 3, top 5, but he is, I would say, a top 10 wide receiver in this league. And again, that is with a team like the Vikings, Kirk Cousins at quarterback, all the issues that team has had. I mean, his volume, his stats have just consistently been up there with some of the best receivers in the NFL. And he earned consecutive Pro Bowl nods in 2017 and 2018, across in which he compiled 204 catches on, get this, 295 targets. So again, he is a short-handed receiver. I mean, 204 receptions out of 295 targets, that's pretty amazing, especially when it is for 2,648 yards and 13 touchdowns. Now, last season, his stats did come down a little bit, but that was mainly due to the fact that he did miss 6 games because of a hamstring injury. But so far this season, he has picked up where he left off from that 2017 and 2018 season, and right now he leads the league with 7 touchdown catches. Now, compensation-wise is definitely where this gets interesting. I've done a lot of due diligence on this, done a lot of research, and I think we have to kind of just take a little bit of a look at when they traded star defensive end Yannick Ngakoue to Baltimore. They traded him for a 2021 third rounder and a 2022 conditional 5th round pick. So that means if he meets the conditions, they get a 5th round pick in 22. If he doesn't, then they only get that 3rd round pick, which is pretty surprising. I've heard many people say that Belichick could grab Adam Thielen for no more than a 2nd round. And if the New England Patriots can grab Adam Thielen for just a 2nd round pick, have him locked under contract for multiple years to come, I do it, no question. That is a steal. I could also see it being a situation where maybe it's a 2nd round pick and then maybe a 2022 pick also. With the Minnesota Vikings currently being 1-5, looking like they're not really going to go anywhere this season, I really think that they're going to continue to be sellers for the trade deadline. Again, having multiple players on that trade block. But the question is, are they going to trade their best receiver, especially after they traded Stephon Diggs? That is going to be the big question going forward. But if Belichick calls, Belichick can somehow grab Thielen, I am 100% for it. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.
In Astro World.